Got a puncture on the road, stopped here, sort of quite a safe place to do so. Gonna get the bike in the smallest gear at the back. Thankfully I've got my toolkit here. I actually carry this everywhere. I've got spare pads, I've got quick link, I've actually got a spare gear cable as well. Obviously this bike's Di2, pressure gauge, and this multi-tool. Just going to come in quite handy to undo the rear axle. Back wheel comes off like so. Just going to put the axle in the frame so I don't lose it. Take the rest of the air out the tube so I can break the bead of the tyre. So just going to do that all the way around, and then it should just come off. If you're having difficulties, you can use this multi-tool. It's got a little tyre lever on it, and then once the bead's off enough, you can just rip it off with your hands. I always leave the tyre actually on the wheel because it's going to come in useful to find out where the hole is. So I always have the logo of a tyre matching up with the valve. So take the tube out. I'm just going to leave that there. That's the way it came off. Now to get the pump. And it's good to see where the hole is, and then you can decide what sort of puncture it is. So if it's got 2 holes in the tube and it's a snake bite and you probably just hit a rock. I didn't actually feel anything though, so I assume there's maybe a little thorn somewhere. Oh, somewhere I can hear it. I can just feel it on my skin as well somewhere. And then I can see it. If I just put a bit of spit on that, you can see the air coming through. So because it's such a small hole, it should be really easy to fix. So in here I've got a spare tube just in case, but I've actually got some patches, like quick fix patches, which are really useful. So you get the sandpaper and just roughen up the patch you need to apply it to. Such a small hole, it's quite easy to lose if you're not careful. And then just stick on a patch. On she goes. So I'm just going to apply some pressure to that, make sure it sets. And so that's basically 6 o'clock, that's the valve, that's the bottom. So just want to make sure there's no sharp edges in the tyre. Let's spin this round. Oh yeah, that's super obvious. Just need to pull this out. There we are. That's the culprit. Okay, so that patch should be ready to roll. It's good that we've still got a little bit of shape to the inner tube, so it's easy to fit. Stick the valve in first, and you should just be able to use your hands. Ideally, you don't use a tyre lever to stick the tyre back on, because you risk pinching the tube and getting another puncture, and that's the last thing that you want. I always start at that end and leave the valve there just to make sure that the tube doesn't get in the way, because the valve keeps the tube in the middle and you want to make sure that you don't catch the tube between the tyre and the rim, otherwise it's really bad. So I'm just gonna push the bead into the middle of the rim, and that should give us the last wee bit of slack that we need. Yeah, easy. Need to pump that up, and then we're on our way again. Thread the pump on, get going. Pretty good for a little hand pump. Just gonna check the pressure, 78. I think that's gonna be fine to get me home, to be honest. So when you're putting the back wheel back in, get the chain on the smallest cog, because that's what gear it was in when I took it out. Pull the mech back and the wheel just slots into place. Chuck the axle in, tighten her up. Doesn't have to be too tight, Just enough so it doesn't come loose again. It's perfect. Okay, so that's the bike. Good to go. Put my tools back in my second bottle cage. And we pump. And it's a handy little mount. I actually love this bike because all my tools and spares are always on it. So I can just jump on it and away I go. Get the bike. A nice easy gear, set off again. Make sure there's a car coming, and that's it. Way back home, that's how you fix a puncture. Didn't take too long. Let's get back on it.